Hi, I'm Sandy Hartka with Sandy Loves Stamping, and we're here today to do the March Stamp and Go. We're going to be creating 3 cue cards with the artistically inked set. It's one of my favorite sets in the annual catalog this year, and I'm really afraid it's going away, so I thought, let's use it one more time before it goes. If you would like to get card kits to make 2 of each of these cards that we're making today, you can place an order online using the special host code in the description below. If you spend $35, you'll get 2 of each of the cards. If you spend $50, you'll get that plus a pack of embellishments. So you can also get the free list of materials and supplies and measurements below. There's a special link below in the description that tells you where to get that. Okay, so give me a moment and we'll start stamping. All right, this is the first card that we're going to be using today. And as I mentioned, this is the artistically inked set by Stampin' Up. This is what the stamp set looks like. It has a set of dies that go with it. Excuse me. All 3 of these are relatively easy cards today, but with this die cut, you really don't need to do a whole lot, okay? So let's get started. We're going to start with the small rectangular white piece that will be in your kit. And we're using the background stamp. Now, this is one of those distinctively inked sets of stamps that has that gorgeous gradation in the stamp itself. Makes you look like a real champ, but you really don't have to do a whole lot to get that to come out looking good. All right, the ink that we're using is Coastal Cabana. And you're going to like this because it's not precise. It's random stamping. So we're going to start up in the top and we're just going to stamp this whole white piece. And I'm kind of alternating where I put the stamp so it doesn't look like we just get a straight line of stamping. And then if we see any spaces after we get finished, we'll go back and color those in. Okay, I kind of like that. I see a couple of white spaces here. Good, good. And see this right up here? I don't like that. So I'm going to turn this around. Ink that in a little bit. And look right down here in this corner. It's a little white space. I'm not all about white space. I don't like white space. All right, how about this area right here? I think that could use a little bit of inking too. I like it. I think that's looking good. All right. So the next part is putting together the card itself. And so we have thick basic white for our card base, opens at the bottom. You might want to give that a little bit of a squish with your bone folder to make that lie flat. And we're going to use the next layer is shaded spruce. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back side. And we're going to just center that on your card base. Just like that. And so you have about 1/4 of an inch showing all the way around. Press that down. Make sure it's even all the way around. And then we're going to pop on our colored layer, our stamped layer. Now you just made a beautiful designer paper, and it's fun to know that you can create any color designer paper that you need just using that stamp and ink. So that is always a good tool to have in your hip pocket. All right, that leaves you about a 1/16 of an inch all the way around. Okay. Now our die cut is in black, and we're going to flip that to the back side. And this is a good place to use your silicone mat. Laying that upside down, we're going to put a little bit of glue up here in the corner. Using an old dauber, this is has been washed, and I only use it for glue now. And we're just going to go straight down. You don't want to drag this. You just want to go straight down on several places You don't have to cover the whole thing. In fact, sometimes it's nice if a little bit of it sticks up, gives it a little bit of a 3D look. All right, I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to move this out of our way, bring this back in, and the big flower I'm going to put down here in the lower left corner and then just press that down. Now, I usually have a little piece of old rag in the offing, and I just go over that a little bit in case a little bit of that glue pops out of the edges. You can nab that and get that out of your way. Now we have 2 black butterflies, and these are actually not from this set. These are from Playing in the Rain. I'm having trouble picking that one up. There we go. These are from Playing in the Rain, and they are a set. It's in 1 die, and the 2 butterflies actually face each other. So it makes it very, very fun and very quick because you don't have to do a whole lot to get 2 facing butterflies. All right, I'm going to pick one up, and on the back side, I'm putting a glue dot. You can use glue if you choose. And one of them is going down here. It's kind of flying downward to the right there. And the other one is going in the upper right corner, and it's flying in toward the flowers. So the last thing that we need to do is pop on our embellishments. And I'm using 3 large rhinestones in the center of our large flower here. Makes it nice and glittery. And then I have 2 medium rhinestones. One of them is going up here. The other medium-sized one is going down here. And the one small one is going right next to it in that little space right there. And then your card is ready for sending. So it was pretty easy, but isn't that an awesome background? And know that you can do it in any color that you want. So there you go. All right, let's look at, let me close up my ink here so I don't get in that. Let's look at card number 2. And this is what card number 2 looks like. And again, we are going to be creating our own designer paper back there. Can you see that pretty well? Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that nice? So we have 4 strips of petal pink cardstock. We're going to lay those right next to each other, just like that. And again, we're going to do some random stamping. And we're going to do the stamping in Sweet Sorbet. This is one of the in colors that is going to disappear in the end of April. So if you don't have those in colors that are going out, you might seriously want to consider getting what you missed, because the ink refills and stuff like that's all going away. So for stamping on this one, instead of the stamp that we use for the Coastal Cabana card, we're using the big flower stamp. And again, isn't that shading gorgeous? So I'm gonna ink that up in Sweet Sorbet. And I'm gonna kind of try to hold those when I pull up so I don't get them too far apart. And I'm going down the center, because again, we're gonna fill in any spaces in a little bit. Okay, there we go. And I'm gonna do 1 layer of stamping, and then we're gonna figure out where we need to fill in, because I don't like the open spaces there. So I'm going to stamp over those so we get rid of empty spaces. Good, good, good. Right here, I don't like that. Now, you may like those open spaces, and if you do, don't hesitate to leave them, because this is your card and it should look like you like it. All right, I'm liking that. That's looking good. So let's close up our ink and move that over to the side for the time being. And we're going to grab our card base. Now this card base is petal pink, and we're just going to give that a little bone fold scrape there, and it's going to lie flat now. And the next layer is looking kind of goofy, isn't it? This is where we cut out the die cut for the front of your card. So when you're doing things like this, it's always good if it's going to be underneath, nobody's going to see it. So why waste all that good gold foil when you can cut it out and then put this underneath? So I'm going to use some dots of glue on the back. And we're going to pop that on the front of our petal pink base, making sure that those borders are even all around. Okay, you have about 1/8 of an inch around there. The next layer is also a petal pink, it's plain. And we're just gonna pop, oops, you know what? This is probably one of those places. You can use a glue, but I don't want to sit there and wait for it to dry because it'll move around a little bit. So I'm going to use glue dots back here. Now, you feel free to use liquid glue because that will hold. It just takes it a little longer to dry because the gold foil does not absorb the glue like regular cardstock does. So I'm just going to use my glue dots so that we can move on and you don't have to sit there and watch the glue dry. All right, here we go. So now I'm gonna, this is the back side, so I'm turning it to the front side and we're gonna center that right over the gold. It's pretty just like it is, isn't it? All right, now we're going to position these kind of alternating them. We're leaving about 1/2 inch at the top and we're going over to about 1/8 of an inch on that side. And we're gonna leave about 1/8 of an inch between them and about 1/8 of an inch on this side. And we're going to see how that looks. We might have to adjust it a little bit. And the same thing here. Whoops. Every time I move my hand, I move the piece of paper. All right, and there we go. So it looks like I can come down just a teeny bit there. All right, I pretty much like that. So we're going to have to pick these up anyway and move them. So I'm going to do them one at a time. Going to put some glue there. And this will come down to about here, remember, about 1/8 of an inch from this end. You can kind of gauge and make sure you're getting it straight up there. Whoops, see, I moved that. That's why I don't use liquid glue when I'm doing something quick. I don't have time to sit there and watch it dry. All right, we're going to put a little bit of glue on the back side of the second piece. And that one is leaving about 1/8 of an inch here and on this side over here on the right side. Okay, there we go. I'm using a little bit less glue, so maybe it won't slide so much. Okay, about 1/8 of an inch on the left side, 1/8 of an inch between that and the one above it. And I moved it again. There we go. I like that. I love this. I love the way this stamp works out. It's just gorgeous. All right, and then the last one is about done. So there we go. We have our beautiful background that we stamped. And again, you change your color combo and you can use that stamp in any of the colors that we have. So here is again our die cut. I am going to move this over to the side, and that dried glue, I'm just going to kind of wipe that off. Add a little bit more up here that's good and wet, and turn this to the back side. Now you want to make sure all your little pieces are punched out before you do your add your glue, because that could really be a mess. All right, so we're going to grab a little bit of glue and go straight down. Remember, do not drag this. You don't want to catch a lot of glue in those little spaces. Okay, there we go. And a little bit around the edge there. And I think we are good. So let's move this out of the work area there so we don't get in it. And I'm going to put the large flower up here in this position this time, about right there. And then I'm going to grab my little piece of terra cloth here and just go over that a little bit. So if any of that glue pops out, you will nab it and it won't show. All right, we have 2 small butterflies. Now these butterflies are from a different set. These are from Painted Lavender, which is in the Spring Mini. And I'm just going to kind of bend that a little bit just so that we can give that a little bit of rise in the wings. And then I'm going to put a glue dot. And I probably would recommend a glue dot here instead of a dot of glue. All right, the top one is going to fly upwards right here. And the other one, put a glue dot back there, is going to fly upwards from the bottom corner, just like that. Now we have several sequins that we're going to put on there. And this is from that trio sequence set, which I absolutely adore. I'm hoping they carry that over again for another year. I use these like crazy. So I'm going to put one of them in the center, and then we're going to surround that with a whole bunch of others, and they're all the same size, so they look absolutely stunning. When you get done, it looks like a really beautiful flower center. All right, and I think we've got one more there. Now, if you need another one to fill in, that's fine. All right, and we've got a couple more to pop on. We're going to put one up here in the little scrolly area. I'm going to put another one down here in this scrolly area, and one more right here. Okay. And you might have a couple left over, and if you do, and you want to put them in some place that's that you like on there, that would be awesome. So your card is now ready for sending. Isn't that beautiful? And again, you can do it in any of the colors that you have. All right, so let's get this one out of the way. And this is going to be our last one. I usually leave the easiest one to the last, but to be honest with you, these have all been fairly easy today. It's just a matter of which one you wanted to start with first. Okay, so we're calling this one the Flirty Flamingo. And we're going to start with this little rectangle here. This rectangle is awesome. Look at all those little dots around the edge. That comes from the Everyday Details die set, not a stamp set, die set. All right, we're using Flirty Flamingo ink, and we're using, I'll call this a rose. It's the small flower that's in that set. So we're gonna stamp that up. I want to stamp it over here and make sure we're getting good imprint. Looks pretty good. And we're gonna start up here in this corner. I like it this way. Ink it up. Stamp it again over here. And ink it up one more time and stamp it down here. Awesome. Okay. I'm going to close this up. You notice I have to close these up or I get my hand in it and then it ruins the next card. All right, that is all we need with that stamp. Our next stamp will be the leaves. Now you'll have a sheet of vanilla in there that you can use for this. You're going to need 2 sets of these leaves per card. You'll have plenty. You'll have plenty of vanilla. All right, I'm going to ink this up, and I'm only going to do one because I already cut one out for you. All right, and we're going to close that up and get that out of the way. So here is the one that I already did, and I'm going to grab a pair of paper snips. And when you're cutting out, hold your scissors still. So hold them always going like away from you, and turn the paper into your scissors. And I think you'll find it works a lot easier that way, and it's more smooth. I'm going to cut that off and get it out of the way. There we go, and cut it down, and you can see how it really goes very quickly. And I see I left a little bit of vanilla up there, so we just pop that off. All right, now you can use, again, a dot of glue. I'm going to use a glue dot on the back of these leaves, and this one is going up here, kind of between those two. And I'm going to put the other one down here in this corner between these two, right there. Awesome, I like it. All right, set this over to the side for a second. We're going to grab the label, and your label is in vanilla. You can see that right there. And we're using the happy birthday from Go To Greetings. I'm sure hoping this one sticks around another year, but in case it doesn't, if you don't have it, you might want to nab it for your stash. It's really an awesome set. It's called Go To Greetings. All right, I'm inking it up in black. Any black ink is fine because we're not using any coloring with it. Make sure it's inking well, and then rock it slightly to make sure you get the top and the bottom of all those letters. Flip that to the back side, and let's grab some dimensionals. And looks like I grabbed the minis, so I'll just use the minis. So we're gonna grab, I'm gonna use 3 since I've got the minis. You can use regular size. This is big enough to use regular size. Okay, and I'm gonna bring this back down, and this is getting centered right here. So you can move it up and down a little bit wherever you think it looks good. I'm gonna try to cover up the ends of this one right here because it's got some space there, and you know how I am about space. All right, looking good. Cover up our ink and lay this over to the side because right now oh, you know what? We are not done with that. Grab that back, and I'm going to add my 3 little rhinestones right here so I don't forget to do that later. So those are just 3 and a straight line down the side. Isn't that pretty? It just fills in that space nicely. And the color is totally awesome with that, with the Flirty Flamingo. All right, grabbing the Flirty Flamingo card base, opens on the right-hand side. Let's make that just lay flat. And we have, the next layer is also Flirty Flamingo, but it's been put through the painted texture embossing folder. Really gives this a nice, rather eclectic kind of background. It's not real fancy. All right, and just press that down. You'll see a tiny bit of your card base showing all the way around. Now we're ready to grab our glue again. So get your silicone mat, pop a little bit of glue up there, and I'm going to flip this. This is the back side right here. And again, a little bit of glue. Straight down, not dragging. Don't forget, do not drag. There we go. And a little bit on the outer edges there. All right, we're going to pick that up, get this out of the way. Now I'm putting the big flower down here in this corner this time. Just like that. Grab the terry cloth and just press down on that to make sure that you don't have any of that glue showing out. All right, now you're ready to place this on it. And we're going to use glue on this. We're not going to pop it up because the birthday is already popped up. All right, and so this then is going about right here. So we're covering up the center of the flower, coming over about a 1/2 inch and down about a 1/2 inch. Okay, just like that. And your card is ready for sending. Let me pick that up so you can see it a little bit closer. Isn't that pretty? So I love this stamp set. I think it is gorgeous. I hope you enjoyed stamping with us today, or at least watching me stamp. We'll meet back here every 4th Tuesday of every month at 7 o'clock for the next Stamp and Go. So put that on your calendar, and I hope you'll join us. If you enjoyed this evening, please subscribe or like or share, or please do all 3. That would be totally awesome if you would do that. Leave me a comment, or you can email me. My email link is below. So you can always shoot me an email if you have questions or comments or requests or anything like that. I'd love to hear from you. Remember, if you would like to get the free card kits to make all 3 of these cards, you can place an online order using that host code below. If you place a $35 order, you'll get 2 of each of the cards to make. If you place a $50 order, you'll get that plus a pack of embellishments. And I'll bet you can't guess which embellishments that you're going to get this time. If you enjoyed today, I also do Zoom classes live every Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday afternoon. The schedule is on my blog. My blog is sandylovestamping.com. And you can see what we're doing. If you have any questions, give me a call, shoot me an email, and we'll get you signed up for those. Those are a lot of fun also. Okay. So thank you very much for joining us. And remember, you can contact me anytime with questions, comments, or requests. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.